In 1881, El Paso, Texas was lawless, violent, and corrupt. It looked like a booming border town, but it was controlled by cattle rustlers, corrupt politicians, and gunfighters. 8 months, 4 marshals, not a single one could control it. Then came a towering former Texas Ranger named Dallas Stoudenmire. Upon arrival, he lit his cigar, stepped into the dusty, lawless streets, ready to control the town. Before he ever set foot in El Paso, Stoudenmire was already a seasoned killer, forged in blood and fire. But to understand the terrifying violence he was capable of, you have to go back to where it all began. Born in Macon County, Alabama on December 11, 1845, Dallas Stoudenmire was 15 years old when he enlisted in the 1st Alabama Volunteers of the Confederate Army in 1861. Being quickly discharged for being underage, he refused to give up and enlisted in the 45th Alabama Infantry in April 1862. Although he was discharged again in February 1863, he had already seen heavy action in Perryville, Kentucky and Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Dallas claimed that despite being discharged, he remained in the Confederate Army until the end of the war, having only multiple bullet wounds to show as proof. When the war ended, Stoudenmire emerged as a hardened veteran, totally unsuited for quiet civilian life. He headed west and settled in the town of Columbus in Colorado County, Texas. There he worked as a cowboy and wheelwright. Dallas enlisted in the Texas Rangers in January 1874 and served as a sergeant in Company A under Captain J.R. Waller. During his time on the frontier, he perfected a deadly dual pistol draw carrying twin .44 caliber revolvers and custom holders designed for fast draw. After leaving the Rangers, Dallas served a brief stint as marshal in Socorro, New Mexico, until receiving a message from his brother-in-law, Doc Cummings. Living in El Paso with Dallas's sister Virginia, Doc convinced him that El Paso desperately needed a fearless city marshal. When the El Paso City Council appointed Stoudenmire as city marshal on April 11, 1881, the town's criminal element assumed he would be easy to intimidate, easy to bribe, or easy to drive out of town. They were dead wrong. Stoudenmire's first act on the job set the tone for his entire tenure. The outgoing marshal, a notorious drunk named Bill Johnson, hesitated to turn over the city jail keys. Stoudenmire didn't argue. He physically relieved him of his duties, leaving no doubt that the era of weak law enforcement in El Paso was officially over. Over the next several days, Stoudenmire patrolled the streets of El Paso like a general occupying an enemy territory. He disarmed would-be gunfighters, drunken cowboys, and crooked gamblers, making it clear that anyone defying his authority would pay the price. Stunned local rustlers and corrupt politicians had ruled El Paso for months. Now a giant carrying 2 concealed revolvers stood on the boardwalk, daring them to move. They wouldn't have to wait long. Just 3 days after taking office, the powder keg exploded. On April 14, 1881, an inquest was taking place at the courthouse regarding the murder of 2 Mexican cowboys. When the court adjourned for lunch, Stoudenmire walked across the street to a local diner. While Stoudenmire was eating, tempers flared outside Keating's saloon between Constable Gus Krimkaw and alleged killers Johnny Hale and George Campbell. As words turned to shouts, Johnny Hale pulled a revolver and shot Krimkaw. What happened next became legendary throughout the American West. Rushing from the diner with guns drawn, Stoudenmire fired wildly, his first shot missing Hale and tragically killing an innocent Mexican bystander. His second shot dropped Hale dead with a bullet between the eyes. Spinning around to see Campbell holding a gun, Stoudenmire fired a third bullet through Campbell's stomach, sending him to the dust. In just 5 seconds, 4 men lay dead or dying on San Antonio Street. Stoudenmire stood alone in the center of the road with both Colts smoking in his hands. The 4 dead in 5 seconds gunfight made Dallas Stoudenmire an overnight sensation across Texas, but it also painted a massive target on his back. The dead rustlers Johnny Hale and George Campbell were close friends of the Manning brothers, who had immense power in El Paso, and they swore revenge. Their first attempt came when the Mannings convinced the disgraced former Marshal Bill Johnson to ambush Stoudenmire. Drunk and desperate to regain his lost pride, Johnson hid behind a brick pillar on a dark night, armed with a double-barreled shotgun. As Stoudenmire passed by, the drunk Johnson missed completely, firing both barrels into the dirt. Without flinching, Stoudenmire drew his pistols, killed Johnson instantly, and took the fallen man's gun belt as a trophy. In February 1882, Stoudenmire briefly took a leave of absence from El Paso and returned to Colorado County, where he married his sweetheart, Isabella Sherrington. Soon after the wedding, the couple traveled back to El Paso, but their domestic happiness was short-lived. While he was away, the Manning brothers turned to personal warfare. Jim Manning ambushed and murdered Stoudenmire's brother-in-law, Doc Cummings. When a local jury acquitted Manning on grounds of self-defense, Stoudenmire was driven to the edge of insanity. Consuming heavy amounts of whiskey to numb his grief and anger, Stoudenmire transformed from a strict lawman to an unpredictable, terrifying force. He terrorized the town, marching down the streets late at night, calling out the Manning brothers to fight him out in the open. Recognizing that their marshal was becoming a liability, the city council pushed for his resignation. Stoudenmire threw his badge at the mayor's feet, but he didn't leave El Paso. Instead, he took a commission as a deputy U.S. Marshal, continuing to haunt the boardwalks of El Paso with his revolver strapped to his side. On September 18, 1882, Dallas Stoudenmire walked into the Acme Saloon to meet Doc and Jim Manning. The air inside the saloon was thick with tension. The meeting started badly and quickly got worse. As he reached the door, Doc Manning drew and shot him in the left arm, knocking him onto the dusty boardwalk. Stoudenmire pulled his revolver and fired back, shattering Doc Manning's arm. As the two men grappled in the dust, Jim Manning ran out of the Acme Saloon. Stepping up behind the fallen lawman, Jim aimed his revolver at the back of Stoudenmire's head and pulled the trigger. The bullet struck Stoudenmire behind the left ear, killing him instantly. Stoudenmire's widow claimed his body and had him shipped back to Colorado County, Texas, where he was laid to rest in Alleytown Cemetery, placing him far away from the border town that he tried to rule. Dallas Stoudenmire was neither a hero nor a villain in the traditional sense. He was a product of a violent era, a battle-hardened veteran who used absolute terror to tame a town that knew no other language. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you'll know every time another intriguing video is posted on Frank About History. I'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and as always, God bless Texas.